students, to discuss on the poem The Patriot written by Robert Browning. Stay safe and learn diligently. We have already seen two stanzas. Today we are going to discuss stanza 3. It reads, "Alack, it was I who leaped at the sun to give it my loving friends to keep. Not man could do, have I left undone. And you see my harvest, what I reap. This very day, now a year is run." Some of the word meanings in this stanza. Lack means used to express sorrow. Leaped means jumped from the surface. Not means nothing. Harvest, the fruit of the labor. Reap means to obtain as a reward, something that we get as a reward. The first line reads, "Alack, it was I who leaped at the sun." Dear students, this stanza is a discourse, expression in words of the speaker what he had done for his country. The tone of the poem gets changed from third stanza with the word alack. The speaker now regrets. He feels sorry. The poet gives a subtle and indirect reference to the old Greek mythological tale of Icarus, son of Daedalus. He dared to fly near the sun with which melted down his waxed wing. Consequently, Icarus plunged to his death in the sea. So we have references to this mythological character, Icarus. Likewise, the speaker admits that he too was overly ambitious and leaped at the sun. This vaulting ambition, great ambition, led to his downfall. His error is that he crossed the boundaries and consequently lost his popularity. The word sun is used metaphorically here. Glory, power, and immortality have been symbolized by the word sun. Sun is the ultimate symbol of the power. The next line, "To give it my friends to keep." Giving the sun his loving friends to keep may suggest that his actions somehow caused the death of his close friends. Many of his friends might have been killed in trying to get the victory. Here again we can hypothesize or draw a conclusion that the Patriot is talking about some battle that claimed the lives of his dear ones. The third line, "Not man could do, have I left undone." He did everything a man could have done to make things right. There is nothing that he has not done. He feels that he carried out everything he could. He went ahead doing every possible thing in public's best interest. And you see, my harvest, what I reap. Fourth line. Despite this, he is facing his undeserved end. He calls attention to present condition. He is in a miserable state. He feels dejected at his harvest. The terms harvest and reap are seen as common metaphors here. The patriot's deeds or actions are his harvest. The consequence of his action is referred as reaping. What the patriot implanted was love and patriotism. But he now receives harsh treatment from the people. The poet uses these metaphors to convey that what he is facing is not what he truly deserves. The last line says, "This very day now a year is run." He says, it has been a year since that day. Here, the poet ends the speaker's flashback. The patriot was considered as a hero, and it is 1 year over now. Everything has changed for him in a year. The next stanza, we go. It reads, "There is nobody on the housetops now, just palsied few at the window set. For the best of the sight is all allowed at the shambles gate, or better yet, by the very scaffold's foot I trove." What meanings? Palsied, affected with palsy, a medical condition that makes one's body or part of body to shake uncontrollably. Shambles, a place where people could gather together to watch public hangings. Scaffold, a platform or a structure on which criminals are punished by being hanged or beheaded. Trove, believe or think. The first line, "There is nobody on the housetops now." This fourth stanza presents the speaker's present thoughts. He talks about what he sees. He describes the present setting and in a way contrasts it with the one on the same day a year ago. Now he has been convicted and is being led to the gallows to be put to death. As opposed to the setting in the first stanza, now all the places are empty without people. There is nobody to cheer him up on the housetops. Where they have gone? To the shambles gate? Yes, surely to the shambles gate. The second line reads, "Just a palsied few at the window set." Only some old people who are suffering from palsy, a type of illness, and who cannot go out of their houses, are watching the patriot as he marches towards his death. The next line, "For the best of the sight is all I know." What is going to be the best sight of the day? Everyone knows the best sight today is not in the street. The best of the sight is at Shambles Gate, a place of execution. So the next line, at the Shambles Gate, or better yet, today people at the Shambles Gate or scaffold's foot. So nobody on the housetops. All the people are at the Shambles Gate. Why they have come there? The people have come to this place to see him die. People gather together where action takes place. The last line, by the various scaffolds foot I drove. The speaker makes a heart-touching remark that the best sight today is at the scaffold where he is going to be hanged. The Patriot thinks that the people are here to see him hanged. Let's go to the next stanza 5. I go in the rain and more than needs. A rope cuts both my wrist behind, and I think by the feel my forehead bleeds, for they fling whoever has a mind. Stones at me for my year's misdeeds. Some of the word meanings: fling, to throw or push something in a sudden and forceful way. My year's misdeeds, my 1 year's wrongdoings. The poet does not clearly tell what they are. The first line, I go in the rain and more than needs. The theme of this stanza is also a continuation of the previous stanza. A patriot is moving in the rain towards his end. It is continuously raining. He is experiencing utter humiliation. The setting, the rain as the speaker walks towards the scaffold is meant for this. It talks about the depressed mood of the patriot. We can also see pathetic fallacy here. It is a literary device used for attributing human emotions and contact to all aspects of nature. It is a kind of personification. The line reads, here I go in the rain. It adds to the depressed mood of the patriot. This depressed mood could be seen as a sign of his inner crisis and sadness. Rain is symbolic of many things here. The patriot gets wet by the rain, losing his dignity. The rain washes him clean. It represents his innocence. It creates a tense atmosphere. The second line, a rope cuts both my wrist behind. The patriot's wrist is tied behind. His wrist get cut by the rope. This shows the extent of his fall. He is moving towards the Shambles Gate, where the people are gathered. How does he feel at this moment? He is certain of his death. Third line, for they fling whoever has a mind. The public started throwing stones at him. They were let free to do anything with him. The bleeding of the forehead is a punishment for his misdeeds. Does he deserve another punishment? We don't have an answer to that. The next line, stones at me for my year's misdeeds. The public continued to throw stones at him. They once regarded him with great respect. The stones have replaced the petals of roses. The speaker is not angry with them. He knows that they have misunderstood him. We go to the last stanza. Thus I entered, thus I go. In triumph, people have dropped down dead, paid by the world. What dost thou owe me? God might question. Now instead, God shall reply, I am safer so. Thou means you, triumph means victory, owe means under obligation to give something back, and repay means pay back. This last stanza reflects the patriot's death. He has entered the gates of death and is now ready to go to his life after death. He is fully prepared to die. This line sums up his entry and exit from life. The next line, in triumphs people have dropped down dead. Alliteration is used here. D sound. Dropped down dead. The Patriot says that in his triumphs, people have dropped him down dead. He did everything for the country, but now he is being treated in this way. His imperfection will bring him closer to God. Third line, paid by the world, what dost thou owe? Earlier, public was completely devoted to him. Now he is being hit him by stones. So they questions God. What does he give him as a reward? The Patriot believes that he did not receive any reward in this world. So he will get this reward in the other world. Me, God might question now instead. This is a fourth line. The Patriot questions God. What is the reward he is going to receive in the other world? He feels optimistic about it. He knows that he has to answer only to God and not to the public. He is resigned to his fate. The poet is depicting him as innocent to get the sympathy of the people. The poet does not mention the explicit reason for his execution. He does not know what crime he has committed for this grave punishment. The last line reads, it is God shall repay, I am safer so. The poet has skillfully depicted him innocent. The Patriot has submitted himself into the hand of God. He knows that he has to answer to God and not to the fickle public. He feels safer with God than with the public. The idea of him safer suggests that he had not committed any crime. His innocence is thus stressed by the poet. Having looked into all the stanzas, let's now look at the poem as a dramatic monologue. Why do we call this poem a dramatic monologue? There are certain characteristics that makes this poem dramatic monologue. Number one, a single person undertakes the entire poem, and this single person is nothing but is the imagined character of the poet. And the real reason for taking the Patriot to the gallows is unknown to the reader. The Patriot directly addresses the audience about his heroic and unheroic present, his heroic past and unheroic present. In a drama, action is normally external, but in a monologue, the action is internal. The characters develop through clash of motives with the speaker. Here the Patriot feels nostalgic of his past. He feels that he will be rewarded positively by God. Robert Browning has created an intense dramatic situation to show the personality of the Patriot. So we can say this is indeed a dramatic monologue. All the characteristics of a drama enacted through one single person. Therefore, this is truly a dramatic monologue. This poem also has got various contrasting imageries basic to the style of this poem. For example, roses on the one side, fling of stones on the other side, contrasting with one another. Roses meaning public devotion, fling of roses meaning public fickleness. Heaving and swaying of the roof contrasted with empty housetops. Speaker is seen as a hero on the one side, and the other side, people see him as a traitor. Decorated church spires and undecorated scaffold food. Patriot is given heroic welcome on the one side, on the other side, unheroic welcome. We see asking for sun on the one side, the other side, the speaker is walking in the rain. Asking for sun is the height of glory, and walking in the rain is the height of shame and humiliation. We also see voice of the public. People ask what else? Cheering sight at the scaffold. contrasting imagery is used. Ample contrasting imagery is used in this particular poem. Please pay attention to these imageries. And this poem also has got the tone of irony in it. The intended meaning is quite contrary to the apparent meaning here. That is why it is called irony. People who welcomed him like a hero at the end jeered for his execution. See the irony. He is being welcomed on the one side, the other side is jeered for his execution. The poem ends on an optimistic note that God knows who is immoral and who is moral, who has done writing, who has done the wrong thing. It is ultimately God who judges everyone. We can also see the theme of poem. Important themes are public's fickleness, love, respect and honor given to someone is momentary. The people who have given love and respect and honor to the Patriot is only momentary. Second thing, rise and fall of glory. Within a span of 1 year, the Patriot experiences love on the one side and then loneliness on the other side. Another theme that is discussed in this poem is faith in God. Optimistic view of life. It means a tendency to expect the best or at least a favorable outcome. The Patriot is expecting a favorable outcome. The Patriot believes that it is God who will reward him according to his true merit. He has faith in God. Death is not the end. The Patriot feels that he carried out everything he could. Since he did not receive any reward for the work he had done in this world, he will be rewarded by God. Let's look at the poem critically. Some of the critical remarks: there is ambiguity in the poem. The Patriot received grand welcome a year ago. What he has done? What are his heroic deeds? What are his misdeeds? Where is it happening? When is it happening? What is the great achievement the Patriot has made? Was the Patriot innocent? We do not have clear answers to these questions in the poem. You also see the Patriot does not glorify his heroic deeds, nor talks about his misdeeds. We see innocent depiction of the speaker. The poem does not tell us the real reason for his execution. The readers tend to sympathize with him at the end. The poet skillfully depicts him as innocent by making the speaker resigning to the fate of God. He feels safer in the hand of God rather than in the hand of public. We can also see the rising and downfall of significant political figures. The poem portrays the rise and downfall of significant political figures. Some of the examples: Julius Caesar, he completed Egyptian tour, became dictator of Rome, and later was assassinated. See the height of glory and the fall. Socrates, wise man, was assassinated on charges of corruption. St. Thomas More was a wise man. People called him as modern Socrates, but he was killed. The poem also has got a subtitle, An Old Story. It is apt as it refers to the rise and fall of the political leaders. My dear students, this poem has got so many literary devices used. Pay special attention to this. The dramatic monologue, the sixth stanza with 5 lines, A, B, A, B, A pattern, alliterations used here, metaphors used here, personifications used here, hyperbole, pathetic fallacy, contrasting imageries and ironies. These are important. Pay special attention to this. Now go to your workbook, try to solve the answers by yourself. That's all for today. Stay safe and learn diligently.